Hello, you are welcome to today's lesson, and we are still treating bearings and distances, and we have a question on the board. A man travels from a village P on a bearing of 060 degrees to a village Q, which is 20 kilometers away. From Q, he travels to a village R on a bearing of 195 degrees. If R is directly east of P, calculate correct to three significant figures: the distance of Q from R, second one R from P. The first thing is to draw. So our starting point as usual is P, and then we are taking off here. So we have located 60 degrees. Assuming that at this point he stopped. So this is our P, this is our Q. But at Q, the man started traveling at 195 degrees. So this is 180. 195 will be within this. So let's take this to be 195. Okay. Now, we know that from P to Q is 20 kilometers. Then from Q, he travels to a village R on a bearing of 195 degrees. That is the whole of this. Okay. Now, if R is directly east of P, directly, that means you follow this. So this should be our R. This point should be our R. Okay. So at that point, we need to know some angles. Now, we know that the whole of this is 90 degrees, but this is 60. So remove 60 from 90. The remaining here should be 30. 30 degrees. Okay, we have succeeded in getting P. Then we know that this line is parallel to this, which means this angle 60 is supposed to be the whole of this angle from here to this line. So as a result, for us to find angle Q, so angle Q should be equal to, when we have 195, the bearing of R from Q, if you remove 180, we have 15 degrees. So 15 degrees is the small space here. And that means we have 60 minus 15. And that will give us 45 degrees. Therefore, Q is equal to 45 degrees. Okay. So gradually we are coming to know all the angles. How do we find R? Angle R should be equal to the sum of angles in a triangle is always 180. So we add these two and subtract from 180. So angle R is 180 minus angle Q plus angle P. And that is 180 degrees minus our Q is 45, while our P is 30. Okay, and that will give you finally 180 degrees minus 75 degrees. which is 105 degrees. Now we can now start talking of the distances. So you now come back and check where to calculate the distance from Q from R, Q from R. So we are looking for small p. That is side facing capital P is our small p. Side facing capital R is our small r, and side facing capital Q is small q. So we are going to apply sine rule. So question 1, we are talking of from Q from R, distance of Q from R. So we are talking of QR. QR, which is the same thing as P, is equal to P over sine P equal to R over sine R. And that is P all over sine 30 is equal to 20 all over sine 105 degrees. If we cross multiply, we are going to have 20 sine 30 is equal to P sine 105 degrees. Therefore, P is equal to 20 sine 30 degrees all over sine 105 degrees. And then in continuation, you check your calculator, and if you do that, we have 20 sine, that should be 20 multiplied by 0.5 all over sine 105 is 0.965925,826. So then going up, coming up here, so coming up here we have P equal to, carry out this, that will give us 10 all over 0.965925,826. And then finally we have 10.35 approximately. So the final answer is 10.4 kilometers. That is to 3 significant figures. So that is the distance from Q to R, and we have succeeded in getting that. So the next thing, we go to question number 2. So we are through with question number 1. Okay. Question number 2, we have to find the distance from distance of R from P. So we are looking for RP, which we can call small q. Again, we use the sine rule, and that should be Q over sine Q is equal to R over sine R. And that will give us so that will lead us to Q over sine 45, because angle Q is 45 degrees, equal to 20 all over sine 105. That is the whole of this angle now. Okay. So the next thing is for us to cross multiply. And if we do that, we are going to have 20 sine 45, which is equal to Q sine 105 degrees. So that Q should be equal to 20 sine 45 all over sine 105 degrees. And then checking our calculator, we have 20 multiplied by 20 times 0.07106,781. We are dividing by 0.965925,826. So if we carry out the division, from here, we come up and have Q equal to, you multiply out first, and that will lead us to 14.562. We are dividing by 0.965925 826. Okay, so if you carry out the division, we are going to have 14.6410 approximately equal to 14.6 kilometers. Approximately to 3 significant figures. So we have succeeded in calculating the distance Remember, from here we get to this place, to the final stage. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe. If there's any question, you put it in the comment section so that I'll look at it and then find solution to it in my next video. Thank you.